Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. We're diving into some incredibly fascinating source material from the guide Transforming Education, Transforming Communities. Look, if you're a parent, a guardian, or honestly just someone who cares about the future of education in Kenya, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking Kenya's new competency-based curriculum. Yeah, the famous CBC. We're going to break down exactly what this source material means for your child and really for your entire community. Let's get right into it. So, let's just address the elephant in the room. Are you feeling a little overwhelmed by this whole CBC transition? If you're nodding your head right now, I want you to know your feelings are completely valid. We've got millions of parents out there trying to navigate this crazy maze of new terminology, complex homework projects, and totally unfamiliar ways of tracking a kid's progress. It is completely normal to feel anxious when the rules of education change this much. But hey, don't worry. That is literally why we're here today, to turn that confusion into total confidence. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive shift we're talking about. Let's look at the past versus the future of Kenyan education. On one side, we've got the old 844 system. We all remember it, right? Tons of rote memorization, passive learning, and the absolute sheer terror of high-stakes national exams. It was super high pressure and, let's be honest, often totally disconnected from the real-world applications our modern economy actually demands. Now, flip over to the new 26333 system, the CBC. This is entirely skills and competency driven. We're talking continuous, formative assessment, and active practical learning. The ultimate goal here isn't just to survive a test, it's to build real-world problem solvers. To get us to that point of confidence, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. Why Kenya changed education. 2. The 7 core competencies. 3. Inside the CBC classroom. 4. Decoding new CBC assessments. 5. Your role as a parent. And 6. Transforming our communities. 6 clear, manageable steps to help you become a confident learning partner. Section 1. Why Kenya changed education. Moving beyond rote memorization. Okay, let's dive into this. To understand why the old system just wasn't preparing kids for a rapidly changing economy anymore, we have to look at this fundamental shift in philosophy. It all boils down to one word: competency. Now, a competency is a student's real capacity to think critically, solve problems, collaborate, create, and lead in authentic, real-life contexts, not just recalling facts on a Tuesday. It's a massive shift from asking, okay, what does this student know, to what can this student actually do? Education isn't just about filling up a bucket with facts anymore. It's about handing a child the tools to go build their own bucket. Now, let's visually break down those numbers that seem to confuse absolutely everyone, the 26333 structure. There is actually a really solid developmental logic to each stage here. It kicks off with 2 years of pre-primary, which is entirely play-based, recognizing that young minds learn best by just exploring. Then we move into 6 years of primary, focusing on core foundational subjects. Next up is 3 years of junior secondary. This is where kids start exploring diverse interests. By the time they hit the next 3 years of senior secondary, they're not just taking generic classes anymore. They are entering specialized pathways like science, arts, or tech. Finally, 3 or more years at university or a TVET institution for advanced specialization. It's a journey custom-built to open doors, rather than close them. Section 2. The 7 core competencies. Skills for the real world. So these are the cross-cutting pillars every single learner is expected to develop, literally no matter what subject they're studying. And think about how crucial these are way outside of school. We've got communication and collaboration, because let's face it, nothing important gets done alone in the modern world. Critical thinking and problem solving. Creativity and innovation. Digital literacy, which is absolutely non-negotiable today. Learning to learn, which means a kid actually knows how to adapt and pick up new info on their own. Citizenship, understanding how they fit into a community. And finally, self-efficacy, which is that rock-solid belief that they can tackle hard challenges and actually succeed. These are the skills that make a person adaptable for life. Section 3. Inside the CBC classroom. Learning by doing. Let's move to and see how this builds inside a modern, learner-centered Kenyan classroom. Instead of just sitting in rows of desks silently copying off a chalkboard, the learning here is project-based. Take an agriculture project on crop yields from the source text, for example. First, students identify a real-world community problem, right? Like poor crop output. Step 2, they actively investigate and test different approaches, maybe changing up plant spacing or soil conditions on a little demo plot. Step 3, they record the data and analyze the results using math. And Step 4, they present their findings to local farmers. So in just one single project, they're simultaneously learning science, math, communication, and civic engagement. How cool is that? The source material gives us some other really fantastic practical examples. Imagine learning fractions not by staring at a boring worksheet, but by physically dividing up a pizza, which, fingers crossed, you get to eat afterward, or doing science by going out and testing the local water quality to see what's actually floating around in your community's river. The research is super clear on this. Active, hands-on discovery sticks in a child's brain way longer than just passively listening to someone talk. Section 4. Decoding new CBC assessments, moving past percentages. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down a huge pain point for parents, that confusing shift away from simple percentages and single high-stakes exams. Let's decode these new grading acronyms right into plain English. Honestly, feel free to grab a screenshot of this cheat sheet. So if you see an EE, that means exceeds expectations. Your kid has a deep understanding and can apply it to complex situations. ME is meets expectations. They are exactly where they need to be. AE is approaching expectations. They're close, they just need a little more practice or support. And B stands for below expectations, meaning they're still developing. They're on the journey, just not quite there yet. Notice how these letters actually describe what a student can do instead of just slapping a 65% on a piece of paper and moving on. Section 5. Your role as a parent. Partnering in your child's journey. Okay, so where do you fit into all of this? Let me just reassure you right now, you do not need to be an educational expert or a trained teacher to help your child succeed at home. The absolute key is understanding the stark contrast between supporting your child and taking over. Supporting looks like asking guiding questions, right? Like, hey, what have you tried so far? It means providing a quiet space, maybe helping them sketch out a timeline for a big project, and really encouraging what we call productive struggle. Taking over, on the other hand, that's doing the school project for them, or instantly blurting out the right answer the second they get frustrated. Look, I know it comes from a place of love, but taking over literally robs your child of essential cognitive growth. If you do the work, the teacher can't see what your child actually knows, and you completely eliminate the learning process. Let them struggle a little bit. That is exactly where the magic of learning happens. This actually leads us right into a super common question from parents, and it's a completely valid one to ask. Will my child learn enough if they aren't memorizing as much as we had to? Well, the educational science gives us a very loud, resounding yes. Studies consistently show that understanding a concept through active, hands-on learning is so much more durable than just memorizing an isolated fact for a test. Memorized facts fade, right? We've all been there. But teaching a child how to learn, how to analyze, and how to problem solve, that stays with them forever. It completely equips them for a rapidly changing world where they're going to have to learn things we can't even imagine yet. Section 6. Transforming our communities. Education as a catalyst for change. You see, the CBC isn't just about the individual student. It is literally designed for broader societal change. When we zoom out to the macro level, and the source text highlights the Kandara constituency as a prime example of this, we see how modern learning systems directly drive grassroots development. A competency-based education reduces poverty because it empowers youth with actual, usable skills. It drives local economic growth because students are building practical entrepreneurial abilities right there in their own neighborhoods. It fosters social cohesion through collaboration. And ultimately, it develops capable, ethical local leaders who know how to identify a community problem and actually solve it. To really cement why all of this matters so much, I want to share this incredibly powerful quote from the source material: "Education is the most powerful tool for transformation. It breaks cycles of poverty, builds leadership, strengthens communities, and creates opportunities." That right there is the ultimate vision of the CBC. It makes education a shared community mission, a true engine for sustainable, localized development. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought today. It's time to stop guessing and start guiding. You've got the structure down, you know the competencies, and you know exactly how to support without taking over. Remember, you don't need a teaching degree, you just need curiosity and a willingness to partner with your child. So how will you step up as your child's learning partner today? Next time they're stuck on a project, will you ask them how they're thinking about it instead of just checking their grade? The future of your community literally starts right at your kitchen table. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and happy guiding.